Good afternoon. Welcome to the International English Language Testing System. Mocha speaking test conducted by Maulik English Academy. Today I am your examiner and the examiner code is S4578. My name is Ahana Tazwar. You should call me Ahana. And today's exam is divided in three parts. And before the main exam, I'll ask you some personal questions. I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
So, what's your name? What should I call you?
My full name is MD Muntaka Islam Nahi, but you can just call me Nahi.
Okay, so Nahi, where are you from?
So I was born in Bogura, but currently I am living in Dhaka.
Okay, so Nahi, can you tell me about your studies?
Um, Please ask me again.
Like, what do you do?
I am a student of class 6 in Moripur at Moripur High School and College.
Okay, so what are your hobbies?
I have many kinds of hobbies, but my main hobby is watching TV or drawing some kind of pictures.
So how old are you?
I'm 13 years old.
That's quite young. So let's move to the part one. Uh, the part one is about drinks. So what do you like to drink with your dinner?
So most often I drink water with my dinner, but in many kinds of special occasions, I drink cold drinks like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, etc. And I also sometimes drink fruit juices like mango juice and etc.
So do you drink a lot of water every day?
Yes, obvious. Of course, I drink water a lot of water every day because water is life, and you cannot live without drinking water. So that's why I drink water every day.
Do you prefer drinking tea or coffee?
So most often I drink tea rather than coffee because coffee contains caffeine, which is really harmful for our body, and also tea is easy to make, and it doesn't most often without doesn't come without any side effects. So I think that is why tea is better rather than coffee.
So, if people visit you in your home, what do you usually offer them to drink?
So it depends on the person's taste. If he likes a coffee or tea, I'll give him that. But if he likes cold drinks or soft drinks, I'll give him that. Or if he doesn't like any of them, then I'll just give him regular water or some fruit juices.
Okay, that was the end of our part one, and let's move to part two. In the part two, I'll give you a cue card and a pen, and in this part, you have a topic, and you will have to talk about the topic for 1 or 2 minutes, and you can take some notes, here your pen and your cue card, and you have 1 minute in your hand if you wanna make any notes or wanna write any your thoughts. So your time starts now. Look. Okay, your time is up. You have to talk about the topic for 2 minutes.
Okay, so this is a very interesting topic. I'm going to talk about a national monument which is known as the National Memorial of Bangladesh. So it is situated at Chawar in Dhaka. So this monument was built was start. So the building of this monument was started in 1978 and it was finished in 1987. So this is a very interesting monument, and I like this monument because it in the monument there are 7 steps, and each steps represents a famous event of our country. Like the first step represents the um, language movement in 1952. Then the second step represents the win of the election. The election win of the United Front in 1954. Then the third step represents our national. Uh,
Liberation War?
no. Third step represents uh, a movement. A movement.
National, the Movement
a
of
movement, a movement,
52.
a movement in 1956. Then the fourth step represents the educational movement of 1960 in 1962. Then the fifth step represents the six-point movement of 1966. Then the sixth step represents the election in 1969. Then the seventh and the final step represents our liberation war in 1971. So and that is why I like this monument a lot.
So that was it. That was the end of
Yeah.
part two. And now let's move to part three. So here we'll talk about different kind of topic. And the first topic is about public monuments. I hope there's a lot of monuments around your school and home. We all see a lot of monuments around our school and our hometown. So, what kinds of monuments do tourists in your country enjoy visiting?
So tourists enjoy visiting monuments like the statues of famous peoples or monuments or some historical monuments. Tourists like to visit them because they don't because the tourists of other countries just don't come in our country to visit the sites and live. They come here to learn the history of the country and learn many kinds of things about it. So that's why they like to visit these kinds of monuments.
Why do you think there are often statues of famous people in public places?
So these statues are in the public places to represent the contribution of the famous people, because these the people statues which are made did something really good or something really big for the country. So that's why the government and many people like to make them as a statue and keep them as a reference and as a inspiration for the younger people.
So, do you agree that old monuments and buildings should always be preserved?
Yes, I think old monuments and buildings should always be preserved because with the help of the old monuments and buildings, people can know about the history of a country. And if you don't preserve them, then your country wouldn't have a proper history. Your country wouldn't have a proper history. So I think that's why it is really important to preserve the monuments because without a history, a country cannot be fulfilled.
Okay, let's move to the next topic. The next topic is about architecture. Do you have a lot of knowledge about architecture?
No, I don't quite have not have a lot of knowledge, but still I have some kinds of knowledge.
Okay, I think that will be enough. The first question is, why is architecture such a popular university subject?
Architecture in present times, architecture is a really popular university subject as we all know, because it is because that people love building many kind. People love to build tall and very futuristic and very beautiful buildings. As we know, in the United Arab Emirates, there are a lot of tall buildings, and the tall building attracts many kinds of tourists. So that's many kinds of tourists, and tourists love to see these kinds of buildings. So many people love to build these kinds of things. So that's why they take architecture as their main subject. And I think it is the main reason why architecture is really popular as a subject.
Just because architecture is a very popular thing in your country, and that's why it's
It's
popular
really
in
popular.
university as well.
Yeah.
So in your country, most people just choose architecture,
Yes.
and that's why you have so many monuments and other structures in your
Yes, it
country.
is the real reason.
So, in what ways has the design of homes changed in recent years?
So in recent years, the design of homes have changed a lot. Like in the past times, people chose to live in the in single houses and like the tin shed houses and semi-wall shed houses. But in the present times, people like to live in tall building. It is because that in the present time our country's population have grown a lot, and the housing is a really big issue for of our country. So that is why people make tall buildings which can house many families together.
So, to what extent does the design of buildings affect people's mood?
Excuse me, can you ask again?
So, what I'm trying to say is that to what extent does the design of buildings affect people's moods?
I think it depends on the buildings. It depends on the building size of the design. Because if a building or a house is really small, then there won't be a lot of space, and the building would be really tight. So the person's mood can be so the person wouldn't get such comfort. And on the other side, if there was a building with a lot of space and as we know, in a really big building there are the balconies and many kinds of places. So if the person's mood is really bad, he can just go there and rest there, and he can get some comfort. And he can get some comfort because of the big rooms. So I think that is why the design of the building really matters on people's moods.
Okay, that was the end of the topic and also the end of our presentation. And thank you for a valuable time with us. And we really appreciate your contribution. And if you like the video, you should really subscribe. And if you're interested in talking things like this, you should really follow and share our YouTube channel.